Hey guys and gals, welcome to another episode of Building Worlds in Public. To those of us who don't already know what Worlds is, in the most simplest of terms, we are a discoverability hub and publication for Web3 games. So, some of us, I'm sure, have already seen and heard about some of the hype behind OpenAI, things like ChatGPT, GPT in general, as well as generative image AI, as well as generative video AI. And for some of us, this may come off as sort of, you know, techy or complex in its nature. We might not even know what to do with it in terms of, with this sort of new tech that's rolling out faster than the speed of light. How can we implement this sort of in our lives, in our businesses, companies, and some of us may take sort of an apprehensive approach in the form of a sort of Luddite and, kind of worry about, where sort of the future of mankind may be headed. While for others, such as myself, we're more interested in, learning how we can integrate this within sort of our workflow models, some of our processes, and to derive some sort of value add, right? There's essentially there's a plethora of things that such technology can do, and that list is just simply too extensive for me to name in this one video. So I'd rather name, the opposite. I would rather talk about in what case you would not want to use such tech. So, for starters, at a very high level, I would not really be too concerned with using such technology if it's in the sort of, from a business perspective. I would not be using this sort of tech if it's not improving your product or service, right? That's there's plenty of business models where such tech for you're not going to have any need for it. However, if your business revolves around technology, the use of spreadsheets, databases, the list as well can get quite extensive here, and then there's a chance that you may find a sort of benefit from ChatGPT as well as AI generative models. So we're not going to get technical. In fact, this video assumes that this is the approach I take, that coding is for losers. I do not like to code. I don't code. If I ever need code done, I outsource. And that's just the sort of nuts and bolts of the situation. I personally am not a programmer, so there's a little bit of a bias there. But what I do is I put a lot of complex processes together in order to derive some sort of flow that, where there's many different inputs on one end and outputs on another, and systems in between those two. That's sort of where my specialty is. Now, in the case of ChatGPT, this is where things can get actually quite interesting, and something that any layman actually can do with just a few strokes of the keyboard. So let me show you the use case that we've used to implement ChatGPT and generative AI into our workflows. Oh, and by the way, let's also get granular. Sure. So, as I mentioned, if such tech isn't going to improve your product or service, you don't need it. But moreover, if it's not going to make your processes more accurate, if it's not going to make your processes more hands off, so create less human touch points, if it's not going to increase throughput, if it's not going to improve creativity, which obviously leads to the product and service, then you likely don't need to really worry too much about such tech at all. So yeah, let's jump into the use case of how we're implementing this tech in our sort of general workflow stack for creating content, since we are a publication, as mentioned, and what kind the type of results that we're deriving from that as well. All right. So here we are, guys. This is what our sort of higher level workflow looks like. That includes the use of GPT as well as a platform known as Coliseum that produces the generative AI videos that I'll show you in just a sec. So, what do we have here? We have what this diagram is showing you is how we're able to create basically on autopilot scheduled AI generative videos with the script in the video that's backed by that's derived from GPT, and it's pulling original sort of data and information from these data sources here. So we have CoinMarketCap, Discord, which is announcements. CoinMarketCap, it's pulling price data. From Twitter, we have obviously Twitter posts and RSS feeds, which are headlines. So let me explain to you what this actually does, right? We have two forms. We're essentially testing two forms of content formats, one for YouTube and one for TikTok. And what these formats are intended to do is not to sort of rank on these platforms, because, like it or not, these platforms know the difference between AI generated videos and videos that are I don't want to say authentic, but have real sort of actors or content creators. In our case, it would be a journalist or a reporter. And what's so we're testing the two different formats. The two different content types that we're testing here is the first being updates for our existing community on YouTube on for games, for Web3 games, so Web3 worlds, right? And this is where Discord and Twitter come in. Okay, so as you know, Web3 is a very, yes, still in its nascency, and yes, very disparate by design. It's decentralized, right? So you have, instead of one megacorp SaaS company doing everything, it's divvied up into sort of thousands, tens of thousands of smaller sort of projects, companies, open source projects, etc. So what we have is here's the problem. We want to solve a problem, of course. I'm not going to reiterate all the same sort of things that we hear on YouTube these days, but yes, the problem here is that Web3 gaming is very disparate. if I want to play, let's say, a dozen games over the course of whatever, a week, a month, however hardcore of a gamer one may be. Well, the problem is that it's hard for me to keep up with all of the updates. Each of these Web3 games are still, some are still in development, some are deployed and live, but are constantly receiving updates, whether something as common as a server being down to wallet syncs not working correctly, and inventory syncs not working correctly, to we're minting a new NFT, utility NFT, in-game NFT in this case. Whatever the reason, the difference between the obvious difference between traditional games, let's say Web 2 games, and Web 3 games is that Web 3 games have digital economies, right? That are with the mode of value transfer being cryptocurrency or tokens, tokenomics. What that implies that having the fundamental news, much like in the stock market, if you're not first to the fundamentals, to the news, that has impact on the value of the in-game coin in any Web3 world, Web3 environment. That can wreak havoc on your portfolio, right? You want to know whether to sell off your coin. You want to know whether to purchase more coin. Maybe sell some of your equipment in game for more coin. Maybe rent. Whatever the trade loops that you have grown accustomed to in these Web3 worlds. Well, they're heavily dependent on the constant updates that keep rolling in from all of these Web3 games, and there's hundreds of them that are playable and decent, right? Obviously, there's thousands, but most never really reach any sort of significant kind of playability that I would be talking about on Worlds. Now, here's the thing. So what kind of value are we solving? We're solving, this is exactly what this diagram here shows you. We are pulling in Discord announcements from all of the games that are in our discoverability hub on Worlds. And Zapier is essentially pulling from Discord and Twitter from these Web3 games and their announcements. It's plugging them into Google Sheets. Then what we're doing is we're using a few simple GPT formulas. There's actually a GPT extension for Google Sheets that you can download. It's called simply GPT for Sheets, and you search that and you can download it. And then what we're doing is the following. So here towards the bottom, you'll see we're sending zaps the zaps are pulling in from Discord. And then on our GPT tab, you can see here is an example. This is from the Web3 game Crop Bites, right? So you can see in column E, this comes in directly from Discord. And this is the latest announcement. So they're thrilled to announce the winners from their last community call, which was held on May 23rd. And what we do is we ask ChatGPT to summarize and draft a detailed report using a journalistic tone. And then you'll see that in this case, in column F, ChatGPT simply decided to say the following: "Thank you for participating in our community call. I look forward to seeing you in the next one." So that's a bad example. We're still not 100% sort of we're not operating at 100% capacity with this workflow. However, you can see that, for example, with Ev.io, which is a first-person in-browser shooter, Web3 game, you can see that their latest update was that that wallet from Discord, that their wallet inventory syncing is currently down. They'll post an update when it's back up, and then using a sort of journalistic tone, ChatGPT says a technical issue has been reported with wallet inventory syncing on the Ev.io platform. And then it sort of proceeds to sort of expound as ChatGPT sees most reasonably fit in the form of a journalist or a reporter. Then what we do is we feed column F through to our templates on Coliseum. And Coliseum is the platform that allows you to create the generative AI videos. That looks something like this. So this is on our YouTube channel. I post the link, the link to the examples is in the description below, but let's look at a snippet. This is what we update our community on every single day, and aside from editing, we've minimized touch points substantially by implementing GPT and generative video AI, right? So our goal is not to rank these videos because YouTube's not going to rank. We just want to update our existing community who've already made it through our funnel and have subscribed either to our YouTube or to our Discord, whatever our social touch points are. And then we update them every single day on the updates that are given to us through the Discord and Twitter announcements through all the different Web3 games that we currently monitor in our discoverability hub. All right, yeah, so if you guys are interested in looking at the sort of final product, if that's what you want to call it, check out the link in the description below. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, right, generative AI video, especially this actor, in particular this journalist, this reporter, it's come a long way, right? Like, you can see the gestures, the sort of influx, the and sort of the enunciation of it's based, it picks up on when paragraphs start and end. The generative AI picks up on things like commas, acronyms, and it references many of those. What's interesting to sort of what's available online and what's commonly being talked about. So there's very little editing, and point being that I think that within 6 to 12 months, we can run this entire workflow, this process, completely hands off, literally. It's scheduled and everything, and we're providing a lot of value, right? So to our existing community. Yes, you can read the updates on their individual Discord servers, sure, but what's the point when you have it in one simple, sort of intuitive video? So here's the thing, you guys, that I think has stricken me most about AI, OpenAI, GPT, as well as the generative video AI, is that these are more so, I mean, if you're going to use these tools in some sort of business or enterprise application, they're more fitted, they're more of an amplification tool to what you already have, right? The several criteria that, that can always be improved on in any sort of business setting, industry, niche. Those are sort of commonplace, and this is exactly what this tech does. It in standalone, you're not going to get much from these tools. Just play around with them and maybe receive some sort of additional info. That's nice, but I think the real power behind this tech is if it's amplifying some existing, whether it be process, system, or tool that you currently have at your disposal, or set of tools. So yes, this is the one content type that we're sort of testing, and the other is this sort of short form TikTok videos, where you can see that the AI generative video, in addition to Zap pulls in data from CoinMarketCap into the spreadsheet, then GPT adds its own sort of shtick, I guess, churns the words and verbiage, and then we plug that into this short form AI generative video. So similar to the previous video, we're not using these types of videos to rank in any sort of platform. It's just not going to work. But what these are, these videos are essentially, they take almost no time. This content takes no time to create, yet it updates our community and our audience on all of the latest news that they might need without any of the added fluff or unnecessary jargon that you might be exposed to elsewhere online. And that's value enough, honestly, paying, I don't know, $50 a month to add this platform across an audience that, however large your audience might be, in the case of a publication or a sort of media enterprise, is a drop in the bucket. It really is. And it's well worth the money, the investment. So yeah, the results, nothing, to brag home about, but more or less what one would expect, right? From such an AI generated video, this AI generated video generated a few likes on our main profile, and over 200 views. So, and this is every day, and this takes no time. It's virtually, I would argue, almost free. All right, so what really comes of this, guys? Really, as I've mentioned, I think that within 1 to 2 years, these AI generative video models, like you see this lad here, it will just simply be, there will be no way to distinguish between an actual reporter and an AI generated reporter using ChatGPT. If that's not the case already, I'm sure, and some tests that some of these companies are running, that's maybe already the case. But definitely within 1 to 2 years, there's just no way to make a distinction. You see this lad, if you look at the video, click on the link below, you'll see the hand gestures, the sort of the influx in voice, the sort of, if there's a question, then he'll pose a question, and the speech to lip sync is nearly, it's at least, I would say, 80% accurate at this point. And so yeah, within 2 years. Okay, so basically the question is, what are the implications, right? Google says AI generated content is against their guidelines. In this instance, right? So on the one hand, they are saying that this is back in 2020, 2022. They're saying 2022. They're saying that yes, AI generated written content is against. They consider it as spam, which I don't necessarily blame them, because there has to be room for creative writing, simply based on a preservationist type level at this point, right? Like, you want humanity to preserve the ability to read, write, and shoot video. Otherwise, obviously, that can all be automated. If it has to do with tech, if it has to do with pixels, then most of it can. Most of this sort of tech can automate a lot of the web, and as we know, there is really no internet. Content is the backbone of the internet. There really isn't much else. Content is the sort of it's a subject matter that allows other people to that allows individuals to converse in the first place. So, on the one hand, that's one approach that Google says they might be taking. On another hand, Google will begin labeling fake images created with its AI. So there will be some schema markup or in the meta description of the image, that this is generated by an artificial intelligence, which I don't oppose at all. I think that there needs to be distinguishing factors, similar, I guess, to accounts on platforms like Twitter and Instagram, where there's like a little check mark, indicating that, yes, this is the official profile, and any other profiles with similar names are not of that individual or organization. Yeah, I don't mind this one bit. I'm actually all for that, because this is only going to accelerate, and I'm interested to know sort of what, comment down below, guys. Let me know, how are you planning after watching this video? Did this video give you any sort of tips and clues? Oh, by the way, all the resources shared in this video are linked in the description below. But yes, let me know if this video gave you any ideas on how to structure your business better. Thanks, guys. Bye.